my 3 least favorite things on the face of this planet are billionaires, men who call grown women baby, and the word panties. Hey, Amelia. I don't even know how to start. So, I finished Twilight. I was on the hunt for my next terrible book to read. Then I saw on ye old internet that 50 Shades of Grey is just published Twilight fan fiction. Like, what a way to follow up the most magnificent thing I've ever created than to read all of 50 Shades of Grey. If you remember from the last Twilight book, we know how I feel about talking about sex. So this will be fun for me. I'm not sure if you can tell by how embarrassed I get talking about anything to do with sex, but I am not the one to be giving you a well-rounded, in-depth discussion about BDSM and its merits and its flaws. There are other people out there for that. It's not me. As long as whatever you're doing is between 2 consenting adults, do your worst. I don't care. Take my comments as an echo chamber talking about these books, because they are pretty fucked. But without further ado, here is 50 Shades of Grey. We open the first book in Vancouver, Washington. I did not know that there was a Vancouver, Washington, but apparently it is where Washington State University has its Vancouver campus. And this is where Anastasia Steele goes to university. Now, she's in her 4th year. And her roommate / best friend, Kate, is also graduating this year, and she's the editor of the school newspaper. And Kate has managed to get an interview with notoriously private, eligible millionaire bachelor, Christian Grey. So this is a big deal because Christian Grey never gives interviews, but he is giving out the diplomas at the Washington State University graduation. So for their graduation issue of their school newspaper, they were like, let's have an interview with him. And he said yes. Oh no, terrible twist of fate. Kate got the flu, and so she can't do it. And so she asks her best friend / roommate, Anna, to do the interview instead. Now, Queen is so unprepared for this, it's unbelievable. Kate gave her a list of questions, and Anna didn't even do any preliminary research. She took her questions. She didn't even read them before she went in for this interview. And she was just like, I'll be fine. So she didn't know anything about this guy. She doesn't know what he looks like, how old he is, what he does, like basic information if you're going to be interviewing somebody. But she thinks her questions are going to be enough. And so she walks into this office, and immediately she's not like the other girlies. Anna is supposed to be like the Bella Swan character of this Twilight fan fiction, and she's very Bella coded. She walks in and she literally falls into his office. She opens the door and falls flat on her face. She's super embarrassed, as she should be. This is humiliating for her. And he's just standing there, arms crossed, just like smirking at her. I hate him. And she's like, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. So she's asking her questions. She doesn't know anything about him, but turns out he's adopted. And so she's like, oh, how old were you when you're adopted? And he's like, that's none of your concern. And then there's a question. Mind you, Anna, not a single critical thought in her body. She goes, Mr. Grey, are you gay? She is so stupid. And he goes, no, Miss Steele, I am not gay. Why do you ask? And she's like, I don't know. Why did I ask? I don't know anything about you. But I guess there's like a little notes under the question. And it's like, he's never been pictured with a woman ever. Ooh, so he must be gay. So at the end of the interview, Mr. Grey offers to take Anna on a tour of his offices. And she goes, no, thank you. And she goes home. And she's like, that was the most humiliating thing that has ever happened to me. Not only did I fall onto the floor, but then I asked him if he was gay. But at least I never have to see him again, right? Foreshadowing. I can't read my notes. She goes home and she's like, here you go, Kate. Here's the recording device that has the interview on it. This was so humiliating for me. And Kate's like, that's hilarious, but I think he's in love with you. Delusional behavior, but I do appreciate it because I also have friends who convince me of my delusions, so like, I get it, but she's crazy. It's finals and Anna's super busy, but on the weekends she works at a hardware store called Clayton's. The owners have a son and his name is Paul, and this is important for later. Anna's working, and then guess who shows up? Christian motherfucking Grey. Stalker behavior. This book gave me indigestion. Christian Grey shows up to her place of work, unannounced, uninvited, and not even in the same city. He's from Seattle. She's in Vancouver / potentially Portland. I'm not super sure. But he shows up to this hardware store and he's like, I have a couple things I need to get. And she's like, oh, cool, I can help you. In her brain, she's like, he's so fucking hot and sexy. Oh my God, he's so gorgeous. And I want him to have sex with me. So she's like, hey, what do you need for your project? And he's like, I need cable ties, I need masking tape, and I need rope. And she's like, great, I can help you out with that. She's trying to make small talk to be polite. She's like, you doing some home improvement? And he's smirking. He's like, yeah, I guess you could call it that. So they get all the stuff together and they get to the checkout. And Paul, the Clayton's kid, comes up, and apparently he has this little tradition of asking Anna out anytime he sees her, which is weird behavior. Like, if she says no, give it a rest. But apparently none of the male characters in this book understand consent. They all suck. So Paul asks Anna out, and she's like, haha, no. And the whole time, Christian is standing there seething. Like, sir, you do not know this girl. You have no authority over her. Why are you mad? And he's like, is that your boyfriend? And she's like, no. So she's checking out all of his stuff. He's like, what else do you recommend I get for my home improvement project? Wink, 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 wink. And she's like, I don't know, probably some coveralls. You wouldn't want to ruin your nice clothes. And this man goes, what makes you think I'd be wearing clothes? Hello? You don't know her. Anyway, Anna blushes. And then he's like, hey, does your editor want any pictures for the article for my interview? And she's like, I don't know, I'll ask her. He goes, here's my cell phone number. Call me if you want to set up a time to do a photo shoot, because I'm only in town until tomorrow night. So Anna goes home and is like, hey, Kate, do you want to do a photo shoot with Christian Grey for the newspaper? And she's like, absolutely I do. Anna's like, perfect, because that means I get to look at him some more because I'm in love with him. And I'm like, okay, girlie, you don't know him, but sure. So they set up this photo shoot, but the normal photographer for the newspaper is out of town. Anna has this friend. His name is Jose. And Jose is in love with Anna. Like, truthfully, 100% in love with her. And he would do anything for her. And so when she calls him up and is like, hey, do you want to do a photo shoot of Christian Grey for me? He's like, absolutely, I'd do anything for you. They call him. They're like, hey, let's do the photo shoot tomorrow at 9:30. He's like, perfect, great, we'll do it. We'll do it at the hotel I'm staying at. So they go to his hotel the next morning, and they're setting up all the stuff. Christian comes in looking hot and sexy, freshly showered. King does not know how to use a blow dryer because his hair is still wet. They do the photos, and it goes all fine. And then they're packing up, and Christian's like, hey, you want to grab coffee with me? And Anna's like, sorry, I don't drink coffee. And he's like, tea then? She's like, great, let's drink some tea. So they go to a little coffee shop. Anna is truthfully the blandest person on the face of this earth. You want to know how she drinks her tea? She drinks Twining's English breakfast tea, the most generic tea in the world, and she drinks it just like one dunk in the hot water, and that's it. The tea bag, a dunk, and then it's steeped enough. Sociopathic behavior. She's like, I like it black and weak. And I'm like, oh, that is actually so horrifying because that's disgusting. So anyway, she does her one dunk of Twinings, and Christian Grey gets a croissant and a coffee, and they're chatting, and she's absolutely smitten with him, and he's like interested in her. You know, they exchange pleasantries and whatever. The amount of awkward silence that I imagine is in their relationship, I would simply pass away. I clearly like to talk. So just like awkwardly sitting and staring at each other, oh, it makes my soul just shrivel up and want to die. They're walking back to his hotel after their little coffee date, and Anna walks into the street and almost gets hit by a bicycle. And Christian grabs her out of the way, super Edward coded, and he's like holding her so that she doesn't get hit by a bicycle, and they're staring at each other in the face. In her brain, she's like, kiss me, goddammit, just kiss me, like, kiss me. And then he goes, I don't think I'm the man for you. I think you should steer clear of me. I'm not good for you. And he leaves. And she's sitting there and she cries. Which, like, again, Queen, you've known him for a single day. Like, this is not the love of your life. Stop crying. Calm down. He was just attractive to look at. Like, let's raise our standards a little bit, because I frankly am concerned. I think maybe a day passes. Kate and Anna do their final exam. They're going to have a party. They're like, we're done with university. All we have to do is graduate. Like, let's get drunk as fuck. So they go to a bar. And apparently, allegedly, Anna has never been drunk before, which I call bullshit so hard. There's no way you get through 4 years of university without ever being drunk. It would not happen. And she's like of legal drinking age. It's not like she's underage and she's just like a law-abiding citizen. No, she's of legal drinking age and she's just never been drunk before. Absolutely not. I don't believe it. They go to this bar and Anna gets super fucked up and she's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And so she goes to the bathroom, and while she's in line for the bathroom, she's like, you know what's a good idea? I should call Christian Grey, the millionaire who I interviewed one time and went on one coffee date with and haven't spoken to since. She's an idiot. So she calls him and he's like, where the fuck are you? And she's like, it's none of your concern, weirdo. Which, like, it's not. You don't know her. She hangs up the phone and she goes pee. And she's like, I think I need some air because I'm super fucking drunk. So she goes outside and she's just like getting some fresh air. And remember Jose? Well, he comes stumbling drunk out of the bar and he forcibly tries to kiss her, even though she's saying, no, please stop, no, over and over again. Assault. This is assault. Nobody knows consent in this goddamn book. She's like, please no, please stop. And guess who shows up? Fucking Christian Grey is like, I believe the lady said stop. Like, thank you for saving her from getting assaulted, but like, that was a little bit cringe of you. Jose stops, because I guess when a man says stop, it's different. Okay, patriarchy. I see how it is. Anna vomits, and Christian's like holding her hair back, being all sweet. She's like, why are you here? How did you know where I was? He's like, let's get you home. And she's like, I have to say bye to Kate first. So she goes back into the bar, and Kate is shaking ass on the dance floor with Christian's brother, Elliot. And she wakes up in a random hotel room, and she's not wearing any pants or shoes. She's just wearing a t-shirt and underwear. I would be fearing for my life at this point, because like a random man just took you back to his hotel room while you were stupid drunk and undressed you. That's horrifying. That's like one of my worst fears. Anyway, she wakes up and she walks into like the kitchen of the hotel suite, because I guess rich people hotel rooms have kitchens. And she's like, did we have sex? And he's like, no, I would not assault you. I prefer my women conscious. And she's like, okay. And then he says, and I quote, I'm not going to touch you, Anna, not until I have your written consent. And things start getting weird. So Anna goes back to the bathroom and she is like, I gotta brush my teeth. But she didn't have a toothbrush. She wasn't planning on staying over. So she uses Christian Grey's used dirty toothbrush. Ugh! That's so nasty to me. That's so foul. And it's like so sexual too. She's like, I want part of him in me. And I'm like, ugh, his toothbrush? His used, dirty toothbrush? Anyway, she brushes her teeth, she gets dressed, and she walks into the kitchen again, and he's like, you want to eat something? And she's like, no. We start seeing Christian get really, really controlling and possessive about food. He's forcing her to eat. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll eat something if it'll get you off my dick. And they're in the elevator on the way down, and he's like, fuck the contract. And then they start making out in the elevator. So Anna's like, contract? And he's like, I'll fly you out to Seattle this evening and we can discuss a contract. So that evening, they get into his helicopter, because Christian Grey has a helicopter because he's an environmental king. Now, I just have to say something before we get too much further into this. Christian Grey is a billionaire. Look, I'll say it. I'm going to be controversial yet brave. Billionaires kind of suck and they shouldn't exist. We all know that billionaires aren't super ethical. So the way that Christian's billionaire-ism is justified to we the people is he's supposedly very philanthropic. Instead of like donating, he like has a business for agriculture that is supposed to help poor people. And he creates lots of jobs, and so he's really a good person. He's still a billionaire, and he still sucks. Anyway, our environmentally conscious king does a little helicopter ride from Portland to Seattle with Anna, and they're having like dinner at, it's called the Heathman. It's a super fancy private dining room. And Christian's like, here, sign this. And it's an NDA. And Anna's like, what the fuck is this? And Christian's like, it's an NDA. And Anna doesn't even look at it. She doesn't read it. She signs it. I'm like, Queen, you should read the things you're signing. How about read your contracts? That feels smart. She's actually stupid. And Christian says this. He's like, you're not going to read it before you sign it? And she's like, no, I trust you. You shouldn't. He's clearly demonstrated that he is not to be trusted. And it's been like 4 days. Then they get into the nitty-gritty, which is that Christian Grey is looking for a submissive for sex. So he gives her a contract to be his submissive, and it has all these rules. They're like, I get to control what you eat, and how many times a day you eat. I get to control what you wear and when you work out. And Anna's like, absolutely not. Christian takes her back to his place. They're talking a little bit more about submissive contract. And then she tells Christian that she is a virgin. And he gets really mad. The first of many times he gets really mad over pretty much nothing. And he's like, you're a virgin? And she's like, yeah. And she's super embarrassed because he's like embarrassing her. He's humiliating her. And he's like, okay, we're going to fix that. And then they have sex. So this is where we learn that Christian Grey definitely has a fucking foot fetish. And it makes me want to kill myself. He's like, I can't even say it. He's like sucking on her toes and like licking her feet. And she's into it. If someone sucked on my toes, you better believe they would get a kick to the face and out of my fucking house immediately. That is so not okay. Like, whatever floats your boat, power to you if you have a foot fetish. I love that journey for you, but like, personally, not my journey. So they have sex, like regular vanilla sex, so that she knows what it's like, I guess, is his rationale. And he's like, just like think it over. Do some research. Go home and Google. And Anna's like, hey, listen, King, I would love to go home and Google, except for I don't have my own computer, and I don't personally feel comfortable Googling kinky sex on my roommate's laptop. And he's like, okay. And so he gives her a whole ass computer, and then he sends her home to think over the contract and to do some research and to like come up with her amendments. So after they have sex, they're driving home in a convertible, and King is wearing Ray-Bans and a Mariners baseball cap. And she thinks this is the sexiest fucking outfit she's ever seen. That is so embarrassing for Miss Anna Steele. While they're driving back to Portland, they stop at a little diner to get some dinner because Christian is super weird about food. And we learn that he was groomed by his mother's friend into a BDSM sexual relationship when he was 15 years old. That's really fucked up. And Anna points that out. She's like, hey, that's super young. That's super not okay. I think she might be a pedophile. And he's like, no, it's fine because I was okay with it. You were 15 years old. You can't have been okay with it. That is sexual coercion and grooming. Like, sorry, King. I hate to break it to you, but you were assaulted. So Anna is like, yeah, that's super fucked up. And Christian's like, no. He has so much unresolved trauma. This man is thoroughly traumatized. He was adopted. He was in a very abusive situation when he was younger. And he has nightmares, and he has flashbacks, and he can't bear to be touched. Like, nobody is allowed to touch him because of his trauma. And he's like, I'm fine. Okay, so the next day, or maybe a couple days later, Anna's had some time to go over the contract and to write her amendments and to research a little bit into BDSM, and she is thoroughly uncomfortable. She's like, I don't think this is for me. Christian takes her to a fancy dinner. They go to a fancy little private dining room, and they have this, like, negotiation, and there's a lot of sexual tension. But she still doesn't sign it. But it's then established that they're in, like, a relationship. They're seeing each other more often, and then it's time for them to graduate. So as you remember, Christian is giving out the degrees at their graduation. And so he gives Anna her degree, and there's like sexual tension there. I'm like, guys, you're on stage. Keep it in your pants. Christian meets Anna's parents. Kate introduces him to her parents as her boyfriend. And Christian goes along with it. And Anna's like, oh my God, is he my boyfriend? They've been seeing each other for like 4 days. Christian gets Anna an Audi A3 as a graduation present. She's super uncomfortable with all these gifts and all this attention. She's like, no, I can't accept this. And he's like, you have to. We learn that Kate and Elliot, Christian's brother, are now seeing each other seriously. Elliot invited Kate to dinner with Christian's family. And so Christian invited Anna, and Anna's like, did he just invite me because Elliot invited Kate? She's super paranoid about it. After dinner with Christian's parents, he's taking her on like a tour of the grounds, and they have sex in the boathouse. And then Mia, Christian's sister, almost walks in on them. They were fully clothed, but like, you know, she could definitely tell. Guys, you're not as slick as you think you are. People can definitely tell. Also, a couple days later, Anna interviews at the Seattle Independent Publishers. That's the field that Anna wants to work in. She has her interview, and it goes really well. And the entire time, Christian's like, where are you interviewing at? And she won't tell him because she doesn't want him to intervene. And he's like, I can get you the job. Just say the word. And she's like, I don't want that. Like, please do not interfere with my career. She's very adamant about it. And he's like, fine. She gets the job. Congratulations, Anna. And she is assistant to a man named Jack Hyde. So after she gets this job, she wants to go out to Georgia to her mom. Her mom lives in Georgia. She plans this trip, and it comes out during either graduation or the dinner with the parents, I can't remember, that she has this plan to go to Georgia, and she didn't tell Christian about it. Ooh, a lot of drama. A normal, rational reaction would be like, hey, I would appreciate if you looped me into your plan so I know what's going on. Have fun in Georgia. But no, Christian is not a normal or rational person. He freaks the fuck out. He's like, why didn't you tell me? He's angry. And she's like, I'm going. And so she goes to visit her mom in Georgia. And it's going super great and whatever. And her mom are having drinks at like a hotel bar. And guess who shows up? Christian motherfucking Grey. It's getting weird. The stalker tendencies are like a little bit too much for me. I'm aware that I'm not the target audience for these books. I'm not attracted to men, and so I don't find it endearing or sexy when men are controlling. I find it concerning and scary and overbearing. Whatever, he shows up to Georgia and he's like, Mrs. Steele, nice to meet you. Anna's mom is completely enamored by Christian because he's gorgeous and he's rich. She's like, no, sweetie, you can spend the night with him. Like, you can stay at his hotel. We'll see you later. And so Anna stays at his hotel and she's on her period. They have sex, which I will not judge that part of it. The part that I do have a problem with is when he sensually pulls out her tampon. I had to emotionally recover from that. I had to put the book down and take a walk around the block because that was too much for me. The next morning, Christian takes Anna gliding. One of his hobbies is that he really likes to go gliding, which is, I guess, when you're in like a little tiny airplane with no engine and then a bigger airplane pulls you along and then lets you go and you're just like flying around. Wee, super fun. And this is part of what Anna calls more. Anna's like, I don't just want to be a submissive to you, Christian. I want to like actually date. I want to get to know each other. I want to do stuff together. I want to be interested in your hobbies. I want to do more. And so he's like, I'll make my best effort. And so when he's in Georgia, he takes her gliding as part of an effort to do more, to be in an actual relationship. And it's great. It's super wonderful. They have a great time. It's adorable. And then he gets called back to Seattle for an emergency. And we learn about the emergency later. Hold on. It's around this time. I don't remember exactly where. I think it might be a little bit earlier. But we learn about a little bit about Christian's childhood. Christian was adopted by his family when he was 4. But pre-4 years old, he was brutally abused. His mother, the crack whore, which is what they referred to her the entire series. Whatever, I don't have time. His mother was an addict, and she was also maybe a sex worker. It's unclear. But she had a pimp, and her pimp would use 4-year-old Christian Grey as like an ashtray. He'd put his cigarettes out on him. Christian's mom, I think, overdosed while he was in the room, and he was locked in this room with his dead mother for days before anyone found him. It's tragic. It's super sad. He's super rich. He has enough money to afford good therapists who can treat this, you know? So Christian gets called back to Seattle on an emergency. Anna finishes up her trip with her parents, and then she also goes back to Seattle. They go over the contract, And she still doesn't sign it, and she still expresses discomfort with a lot of what is involved with this submissive contract. And then Christian takes her into his sex room. He's like, do you trust me? Which is not consent, by the way. When you have not established clear boundaries, what's okay, what's not okay, they've known each other for like a week at this point, you can't just be like, do you trust me? And then just like have free reign, you know? He's like, do you trust me? And she's like, yes. Terrible idea, girl. You hardly know him. He ties her up, which again, he did not ask her if that was okay. And they do like a little bit of light BDSM sex, I guess. Anna is always, and I mean constantly, biting her lip. I cannot picture it in like a sexy or seductive way. To me, it's like, that's not sexy, you know? But she's constantly doing it. And every time he's like, yeah, don't do that. It turns me on. So this one time she's biting her lip and he's like, I gotta punish you for doing that. And she's like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna hit you sexually. Anna wants like a regular relationship. Christian wants a BDSM dominant submissive relationship. He's like, you're so different. Like, I actually do think that I like you and like I'll change myself for you. Anna is like really worried that she's not enough for him and that she is forcing him to acquiesce into something that he just isn't, and she will never be able to fulfill his needs. And so she's really insecure about that. She is kind of doing kink stuff to appease him. So they have this conversation one time and she's like, you always say you want to hurt me, show me how much it can hurt. Completely terrible idea. And he's like, okay. So he takes her into his sex room and he starts hitting her and it's really hurting her. She's not comfortable with it, but she doesn't want to seem weak to him, so she just sits there and takes it. She's hating every second of it and she's sad and she's anxious and she's angry and she's afraid. And when it's finished, she's like, dude, that was super fucked up. And he's like, but I thought that's what you wanted. She did ask for it and she didn't give any indication that it's not what she wanted. So like, you cannot blame him because he can't read your mind, girl. But she's like, that was super fucked up. I don't think I can be with you. And he's like, maybe you can't. And they break up. And that's the end of book 1. All of this happened in less than a month. Just let that sink in for a second. And people say lesbians move fast. Please. Book 1, that we just talked about, had barely any plot. Basically nothing. It was just a lot of them having sex, like, all the time. Book 2 has substantially more plot, so it's gonna take a lot longer to talk about. And there's also a lot less sex. After book 1, where I felt my brain was rotting and coming out of my nose, book 2, with its much more plot and much less sex, I could very much cope with it. Christian and Anna have just broken up. And Anna is devastated. She's super depressed. She's not eating. She can't bear to listen to music. Super Twilight core. I mean, Bella did the exact same thing when Edward left her, you know? And so she's just going to work, going through the paces, and her boss, Jack Hyde, remember him, he comes back later, he's like, your first week here is done. Like, let's go out to drinks to celebrate. And she's like, I'm not really feeling it. So she doesn't go. Christian has sent flowers to her office to like celebrate her new job because she just started. Now remember Jose from the first book, beginning of the first book? He is a photographer and he has a show displaying his photographs. It was a super big deal and Christian and Anna already had plans to go to see it together. And I guess they didn't want to like find a different +1. Like, you guys just broke up. Like, literally 5 days. They're going to go to this photography show together, even though Christian literally hates Jose. Anna could find literally anyone else on the face of this earth to go to this photography show with, but she doesn't. Christian picks her up from work, and they helicopter over to Portland, and Christian is like, I miss you, Anna. I want to get back together. And she's like, I mean, I miss you too, but let's not be rash about things. So they're at this art show, and Jose is supposed to be a landscape artist. So tell me why there's an entire portion of his show dedicated to candid photos of Anna that she did not know are being taken. Again, guys, let's just communicate. I'm literally begging you. So Christian gets all weirdly possessive. He's like, I don't want other people looking at you in their space. So he buys all of them. And Anna's like, okay, that's cool. After the art show, they're helicoptering back to Seattle and they get to talking and they decide to get back together. And Christian is like, these last 5 days have been the worst days of my life. Literally felt like I was dying. Like, I love you. But he doesn't say that because he can't, because he's emotionally repressed. But he's like, I can change. I can be different for you. Just like, don't leave me again. And Anna's like, okay. So they get back together. Now the next day at work, finally Anna is like, sure, I can go to drinks with Jack and the coworkers, whatever. But she steps out of her office and she sees a creepy looking girly with brown hair, and she's dirty, and she lifts up her hand and she has like bandages on her wrists, and Anna is scared. She's like, who are you? And this girl's like, what do you have that I don't have? You're so pretty. Being super creepy. And Anna's like, that's fucking weird. So she goes to drinks with her coworkers. Christian shows up. He was invited. It's not like he's showing up unannounced again. And he's like, I'm her boyfriend. And Jack Hyde is like, oh, okay, dude. On the way back home, Anna learns that Christian bought the company she works for, Seattle Independent Publishing, to keep an eye on her. Dude, what? That is so outside of the scope of what is okay. First of all, she made it so clear that she did not want him messing with her career. She's like, I wanted to do this myself. I don't want you helping me. So please don't buy my company. He's like, I already did. So Anna is understandably super freaking mad. Like, she explicitly asked him not to interfere with her career, and he goes and buys her freaking company. She gets over it, and then they have sex under more dubious consent. More that, do you trust me bullshit? Like, I'm so not into that. And after they have sex, Anna goes to bed, and she has a nightmare about the girly. So she tells Christian about the girl who showed up at her work. Christian freaks the fuck out, but he won't tell Anna what's going on. So he's calling his security head, and Anna is super confused. And so finally, Christian is like, her name was Layla. She is one of my former submissives, and she's having a psychotic break. And Anna's like, dude, what? Yeah, so remember when Christian had to leave Georgia early? It turns out it was because Layla had showed up to his house and tried to kill herself in front of his housekeeper. He's like, you have to stay at my place. We're going to up security. Anna is very clearly in danger. Somebody is stalking her and now has permits to carry a weapon. Like, this is scary. So tell me why Anna is like, no, I have a job. I have a life. You can't just like put me on house arrest. You can't just make security follow me everywhere. Like, come on, girl. Get some sense into that little brain of yours. You're in danger. I think he has some right to be controlling in this instance. It's a scary situation. So Anna is staying at Christian's apartment for the time being while there's a crazy lady on the loose. And it's Saturday morning, and he's like, what do you want to do today? And Anna's like, well, I wanted to get my hair cut. So Christian is like, say no more. I have a chain of hair salons. Because what doesn't he have? Christian takes Anna to one of his hair salons. And guess who is there? The woman who groomed and assaulted Christian. Because apparently they have a lovely working relationship / close friendship. Her name is Elena Lincoln. She's like, hey. And Anna is so understandably super pissed at this. She's like, why would you take me here to the business you run with the woman who abused you, this pedophile? Take me home. I can't deal with this. So she's pissed. And Christian is like, what did I do? Blah. I'm like, dude, she does not want a relationship with this woman, and she does not want you to have one. And I think that's super fair of her. Anna asks Christian to take her home. She doesn't get her hair cut. And they're back at his house. Things are starting to settle down. She's not as mad anymore. They kind of like spend some time apart and seethe, and then by the time they're back together, they're like, let's just have sex. Remember, Christian has a lot of trauma. Part of how that manifests in him is he can't let people touch him. But there's certain places on his body that he's okay with touching, like his face, his neck, his arms, whatever. Anna is sitting in her bed seething, and Christian comes in with some red lipstick, and he's like, circle on my body all the places where you're allowed to touch, and then you can touch me and it'll be fine. And Anna's like, this is such a sweet gesture. Oh my gosh. And so they do. And then they probably have sex. Honestly, I don't remember. I think I blocked it out. That evening, or the next evening, they go to a masked charity ball that Christian's parents are holding. And because they literally cannot have one normal evening, even though they're going to be around family and coworkers and important people, Christian's like, let's do some freaky sex shit. So he puts like metal balls up Anna's body. I don't want to talk about this. For her to just like have inside of her during the event. I can't do it. That's chill and normal, I guess. So as part of the event, the women, including Anna, all line up and they get bid on by men for a dance. That makes me so uncomfortable. That's so weird. Christian bids $1,000 on Anna so that nobody else even gets close to having a chance to have a dance with her. All the other girlies are pissed because Anna got bought for the most amount of money. That's insane. During this bidding process, Anna and Mia, Christian's younger sister, are chatting, and Mia tells Anna that Christian had a really rebellious phase in his young adulthood when he was like 13, 14, 15. It all kind of stopped magically when he was 15. Do you recall what happened when he was 15? That's when he started getting groomed by his mom's friend. Anyway, Christian takes Anna to his childhood bedroom. They have sex. So after they go home from the charity ball, they go back to Christian's apartment and they find Anna's car, the A3, the one that Christian had bought her as a graduation present. They found it in the parking garage with all of its tires slashed and with red paint poured all over it. So Christian freaks the fuck out, calling his security team. He's like, search the apartment. And so they conduct a search, and Anna's pretty freaked out too, and they don't find anything, so they're like, it's fine to go back upstairs, but they're on high alert. They go to bed, all is fine. In the middle of the night, maybe 2 a.m., Anna wakes up, and she thinks she sees someone standing at the foot of her bed, like a woman, but she writes it off as like she's imagining things. Girl, I would be so paranoid. I would be any little creak in the dark. I'd be like, oh my God, it's Layla. And she's just like, it's probably my imagination. I was probably being dramatic. Like, at least say something. Christian's not in bed with her, so she goes to find him. He's in his study, and they're having a little chat, and they go back to the room, and Christian's like, oh, did you leave the balcony doors open? And Anna's like, no, did you? And he's like, no. And they're like, it was Layla. Anna wasn't being weird dramatic. She actually did see someone standing at the foot of her bed, and she just decided to say nothing. So they freak out. They realize that Layla was in the apartment, and they decide they can't stay there. So they go to a hotel. They stay at the hotel under a pseudonym. They have sex. Anna had been seeing a doctor to get prescribed birth control. She stopped taking it a while ago, and so the doctor comes in and switches her birth control to the shot method. Oh, this part made me mad. So this doctor comes in and is like, have you stopped taking your birth control? And Anna's like, yeah, can we switch to something that I don't have to remember to take? And the doctor's like, sure, we can switch you to the shot, but since you stopped taking your birth control, you might be pregnant. Listen, Christian and Anna have been very diligent about contraceptive method. Even when Anna stopped taking her birth control, they used condoms. So, like, the likelihood of her being pregnant is very, very slim. And so why is this doctor getting all up in Anna's business, being like, you might be pregnant, you should remember to take your birth control? Anna is a grown adult. She knows the consequence of not taking her birth control, which is why they use condoms. Why is the doctor being like this? So Anna's freaked out. She's like, God, am I pregnant? She takes a pregnancy test. The pregnancy test is negative. She chills out a little bit, but she's still really, like, in shock from that. And so she walks out of the room, and Christian's like, what's wrong? And she's like, the doctor said I might be pregnant. And Christian freaks out, and he's like, are you? And she's like, no. Anna is a little bit confused because she doesn't realize how Layla knew which car was hers. And Christian's like, oh, yeah, I bought all of my submissives Audi A3s. And Anna's like, makes me feel a little bit weird. And so he's like, okay, well, I'll buy you a new car. So he buys her a Saab. I personally can't take Saab seriously because my mom had a Saab when she was in university. And so to me, it's just like a university car for people from Vermont. I'm sure it's a nice car, but like, to me, they're silly. Anna is still really insecure that she won't be able to fulfill his needs because Christian is still so controlling, and she's like, do you miss that part of your life? And he's like, yes, but I don't, but it's fine, I can learn to live without it. And so Anna's like, well, he shouldn't have to change himself fundamentally for me. So she's still a little bit insecure, and he's trying to reassure her, but it's not super working. The next day, Anna is gonna go back to work, and she really is arguing that she doesn't want to take security with her. I'm like, Queen, a crazy person broke into your home and watched you sleep, and your boyfriend is offering you security. Take it. Just take it. And so she rolls her eyes, and Christian is like, don't roll your eyes at me, I'm gonna punish you. And he hits her with a ruler in a sexual way. Queen asserts her boundaries and is like, stop. And Christian's like, thank you for communicating your boundaries. It's super fine and normal. They'll like maybe just communicate about it. Ugh. So Anna's mad. She goes home. They have sex. Christian asks her to move in with him and then tells her that he loves her. He doesn't say, I love you. She says, you love me. And he says, yes, I do. But she's like, oh my God, he said he loves me. Even though he didn't. But like, close enough. Whatever. But here's the drama. Kate and Kate's brother Ethan and Elliot, who's Christian's brother and who's dating Kate, are all in Barbados for all of this. This is why we haven't heard much from them. But Ethan, Kate's brother, had to come back early, and he was going to stay in Kate and Anna's apartment. So Anna is like, Christian, I need to be there. And Christian's like, no. Ethan comes to Anna's work to grab the keys, and he's going to meet her at the apartment later, and him and her and Christian are going to go out for drinks and for dinner, and then he's going to stay at the apartment. So later that evening, Christian drops Anna off at the apartment. He's waiting right outside, and he's like, just run in and grab him and we'll go. So Anna walks up, and the door's unlocked, and she's like, oh, Ethan must not have locked the door behind him. So she walks in, and guess who's there? Not Ethan, Layla, pointing a gun at Anna. See, this is where I would tap out. I don't think I can love anybody enough for someone to be pointing a gun at me. If someone comes with that much baggage, respectfully, I don't think we're soulmates, Anna is freaking out because someone is pointing a gun at her. And Christian comes running up and he's like, uh-oh. He immediately takes charge of the situation. He recognizes that Layla is mentally in a very weird and precarious place. And he's like, if I use my dominant personality voice, then she will listen to me. So he's like, Anna, go downstairs. And he starts ordering Layla around. You would not have to ask me twice. If someone is pointing a gun at me and my partner comes up and is like, leave, I'm getting out. They're so fucking fast. Anna's downstairs in the car with Ethan, and she's freaking out, but not for the reasons you would expect. Instead of freaking out because she just had a gun pointed at her and her partner / love of her life is upstairs still with a gun pointed at her, the way that she has internalized this is that Christian still needs that dominatrix part of his life. She's jealous of Layla, absolutely unhinged, delusional behavior. And she's like, why does he love Layla more than me? Like, he just wants her not to die. And so Christian comes back. They go back to the apartment, I think. And Anna is like, I can't fulfill this. Why do you love Layla more than me? And he's like, I don't. Please don't leave me. I have abandonment issues. And he gets all weird. And then he asks Anna to marry him. And Anna's like, can I have some time to think about it? Anna's angry. She asks Christian what they did when Anna went downstairs. And Christian's like, I bathed her. And Anna is like, you cheated on me. You still love her. Why do you care for her? Like, come on, girl. Give it a rest. This woman was in a mental health crisis and he did what had to be done. Christian is like, let's have sex. And Anna's like, no. And Christian gets all pissy and is like, please, come on, please, pleading with her. If you have to plead with someone for consent, it's not consent. So a lot of time has passed. It's nighttime now. Where did we leave off? Something about Christian and sexual coercion. Happens quite a bit in this book, actually. You'd be surprised. So the next day, after all this happens, Jack, who is Anastasia's boss, tries to blackmail her and coerce her into having sex with him. Anna is like, no sir, no ma'am. She smacks him in the face and knees him in the nuts and runs away. Christian, who bought the company and now is like the big boss of it all, fires Jack. Go King. Yay. Anna tells Christian about what happened, and for some godforsaken reason, Christian is mad at Anna for her boss coming on to her. He's like so pissed because he told Anna that he knew that this guy was bad news and now something happened to her, so it's her fault for not listening to him, I guess. He's berating Anna for getting assaulted. And then he suddenly, and quite violently it seems, kisses her with seemingly very little regard for the potentially traumatizing events that just transpired. And that's when I knew I hated him. When Anna comes into work the next day, she learns that she is now the acting commissioning editor, which was Jack's job. So she basically got Jack's job despite having no qualifications or valid experience in the field. She's like, Christian, did you do this? And Christian is like, no. Good for her. She got this job all by herself. But she's only there in the interim while they look for a replacement, right? Got it. Later that day, Anna and Christian go to visit Christian's therapist. Clearly, the therapist is not doing a good job. Anna is like, I don't know if I can be what he needs me to be. And the therapist basically says, like, yeah, Christian has a lot of trauma, but if he says he wants you and if he says that you're enough for him, I would take him at his word. So Anna says yes to his marriage proposal. After therapy, Christian takes Anna to this fancy club, like a gentleman's club, and they have dinner, and it's the same dinner that they had the first night when they were negotiating the BDSM contract. And Christian takes the NDA, which Anna signed, and he rips it up. That's basically him being like, I trust you. And then he finger diddles her in the elevator with a lot of people in there. Can you not keep it in your pants for like 10 more minutes till you get home? They get home, they go to bed. Christian wakes up early and he goes to an early meeting in Portland. So he's helicoptering there. And Anna is calling him and texting him and emailing him. And usually he's really good at responding like instantly. But he doesn't respond, and it's kind of weird. But Anna's like, I trust him. I'll give him some space. It's probably nothing. So the entire day passes, not a peep from Christian. Anna is super worried, and turns out everyone is super worried because nobody's heard from him. His helicopter has gone missing. He is missing for approximately 5 pages. And then he just walks right in and is like, yeah, there was a problem with the helicopter, but I'm fine. Your helicopter is the safest in its class. Like, what happened? It's like, I don't know, a malfunction, but they launch an investigation into it. So before Christian left for his meeting, Anna was snooping around and she found photos of former submissives of Christian in compromising positions. She asks him about them, and he's basically like, yeah, I was going to use them for revenge porn if any of them try to come out against me. Runaway girl. That is so fucked up. That's insane. I was like, wow, this man truly has no redeeming qualities. And they don't even seem to like each other that much. Also, like, they constantly fight. It's ridiculous. Revenge porn is not cool. Don't blackmail people, Oh, yeah. So it's Christian's birthday. He gets back from being missing, and a couple days later, it's literally his birthday. So his family holds like a little birthday party for him. Guess who shows up? Elena Lincoln, the lady who groomed and assaulted him. At this birthday party, Christian and Anna announce their engagement, and everyone's super happy, except for Elena gets real pissy. She pulls Anna to the side and is like, you can never make him happy. He'll never love you. Girl, you have no right to be saying any of this. Nobody asked you. Anna throws her drink in Elena's face. Christian walks in, and he is screaming. He's like, I love her. You didn't know anything about love. You just taught me how to frick. Everyone can hear them fighting because he's screaming. So Grace, Christian's mom, hears about this, and she throws Elena out. She starts yelling at Christian. What is it with this family and their victim blaming? He was a child. He was 15, and he was groomed by your friend, Miss Missy. You don't have any legs to stand on. How are you bringing people into your life who groom 15-year-olds? She's like, how old are you? How long did it go on? I'm like, guys, he was a child. So they have this little fight, and Anna is sitting outside, and then Christian goes outside and meets her, and he's like, I have something to show you. And she's like, oh, word? Okay. He walks her down to the boathouse, and in the boathouse, there are all these flowers, and I imagine candles. He gets down on one knee, and he actually proposes to her with an actual ring. Obviously, she says yes. They're in love. Then we get like a little mini epilogue, which is from Jack Hyde's perspective, where he's like, I'm gonna get revenge on Christian Grey. And then the book is over. How you doing? Where are we at? I would like to remind you that it has been a total of maybe 6 weeks since the beginning of the first book. In that time, they have negotiated a sex contract, broken up, gotten back together, gotten engaged, and Christian disappeared for a second. In 6 weeks. All right, this is the last book. This book quite nearly broke me. There are not words to describe how uncomfortable the end of this book made me. But I'm putting the cart before the horse. We open in true Twilight fashion with a wedding. Anna and Christian are getting married. Immediately after their wedding, Christian takes Anna on a surprise honeymoon to a mystery destination. And it turns out that mystery destination is Europe because Anna, who's not like other girls, loves British literature and she's always dreamed of going to Europe and she's never been. They rented a yacht for a part of their honeymoon, and they're on a beach. It's a shirtless beach. This is probably Christian's first mistake, is taking Anna to a shirtless beach when he knows he's absolutely not okay with her being shirtless in front of other people. So he's like, you're absolutely not allowed to take your top off. Anna, ever the drama starter, she's like, you can't tell me what to do. So she discreetly takes her top off, and she's lying on her front, so she's all covered up and whatever. She dozes off, and she dreams of before they got married, when Christian's family is like, you guys should get a prenup, and Christian's like, no prenup. And then she wakes up and she's lying on her back and her tits are out, and Christian is livid, which maybe it's your fault for taking her to a topless beach, but he's angry. He's like, people could have seen you, the paparazzi, the security team, they're all seeing your tits. And so he drags her back to the yacht, and he's like, I'm gonna punish you. And because this is 50 Shades of freaking Grey, the way he punishes her is by blindfolding her and having just so much sex with her. They still, despite being married, have not had one clear discussion on boundaries and limits and what's okay and what's not okay. Christian ties her up and handcuffs her arms and legs and gives her a bunch of hickeys everywhere. Anna wakes up the next morning and she looks in the mirror, she sees all these hickeys on her, and she's like, dude, that is absolutely not fucking okay. That's a hard boundary for me. Please don't do this. And he's like, but I thought it would be fine. Don't mark people's bodies without asking. Thing one. But then Anna throws a goddamn hairbrush at him. Don't throw things at people. Neither of them are in the right in this situation. They're both terrible people. Later on, there's a little bit of a phone call from one of Christian's employees, and we learned that there was a fire in Gray's company, and it was arson. And everyone's like, well, was it Layla? Remember the crazy girlie? And Christian's like, no, she's doing great. I'm keeping tabs on her. She's in Connecticut. She's at art school. She's completely fine. And Anna's like, well, is it Elena Lincoln? Is she mad that, she's been disgraced? And he's like, no, she is mad, but she wouldn't commit arson. And so they don't know who's doing it. It's towards the end of their honeymoon, so they wrap up their honeymoon and they head back to Seattle. Oh, did I talk about the house? At the end of the last book, they tour a house, a nice big house in the country, and he buys it for her. So they now own a family home that they're remodeling. So after their honeymoon, they go to a family dinner at Christian's parents' house, and everyone's there. It's a big party. But on the way back, they're driving and someone is following them. And so there's a bit of a car chase. Anna's driving. She's swerving in and out of traffic and going 100 miles an hour, which is really fast. They pull into a public parking garage to get away from them. And then they have sex, because that's how they cope with all of their problems. After that, they go home and they're looking through CCTV footage of Christian's office, trying to find who did the arson. And they find the person and they're trying to figure out who it is. It's Jack frickin' Hyde, Anna's sleazy ex-boss who tried to coerce her into having sex with him and who's now causing problems on purpose. So Christian's angry. He's like, let's track him down. We arrest him, whatever. And the next day, Anna goes back to work. She shows up. Her receptionist is like, hey, girlie, we want to give you the commissioning editor position permanently, despite the fact that she has no experience in this industry and she was barely qualified to be an assistant. She's like, oh, yay, and I did it all by myself. No help from Christian. Christian emails Anna at work with her new name, Anastasia Gray. The email bounces back because Anna didn't want to change her professional name. She wanted to keep her name Anna Steele professionally. Christian is not okay with that. He is livid. And he doesn't even take a second to listen to what her reasoning might have been. He's just like, I want everyone to know that you're mine. She's like, dude, I have my own career. I want to keep my work life separate from my personal life. And Christian, in this fit of rage, is like, you're unqualified for this job. The only reason you got it is because I gave it to you, because I'm the boss. And she's like, dude, that was way harsh, but fine. If you insist, I'll change my name. And he's like, I do insist. So he basically manipulates her into changing her name. So Christian has to go to New York for a meeting, and Anna is really scared because last time he had to go somewhere for a meeting, he went missing for 5 pages. While he's in New York, Anna decides to go out for drinks with her friend Kate. Even though Christian specifically said that she had to go straight home, they go out for drinks and they stay out pretty late. And when they get back to the apartment, there's like this commotion. And so it turns out Jack broke into the apartment with the intention of kidnapping Anna. So like, it's actually better that she went out for drinks, Christian. Anna goes to bed, and when she wakes up, Christian is sitting there and he's like, I came home as soon as I heard. And Anna's like, did you come home as soon as you heard that a crazy man broke into the house? Or did you come home as soon as you heard that I went out to drinks with my friends? She's pissed. Because that is weird. Your wife is an adult. She can go to drinks with her friends, you know? And the security guard was there the whole time. And it was better that she wasn't in the apartment so she didn't get freaking kidnapped. Christian gets really angry. And he's like, I want to beat the shit out of you. Those are his exact words. He says, I want to beat the shit out of you. Girl, run away. It's not too late to get an annulment. That's crazy. Christian takes Anna into the sex room, and they have really brutal, kinky sex that Anna did not consent to and that she feels really uncomfortable and scared by. And she uses the safe word, and then Christian gets all, like, sad that he hurt her. I'm like, dude, you did that. You didn't have to, but you did. So, like, maybe live with the consequences of your action. Maybe ask consent, you know, just a thought. I guess they talk it out, and it's all fine, because the next day, Christian and all of his siblings, Kate and her brother and Anna all go to Aspen for the weekend. The girlies go shopping and the guys go fishing. Then they go to dinner. And at dinner, Elliot proposes to Kate. And she says yes. So they go out to a club to celebrate. Anna's dancing and she's like a little bit tipsy. Some rando starts rubbing up on her. And she's like, dude, not cool. And she smacks him over the face. And then Christian comes and decks him in the face. Then they go back to the Aspen house and have sex. And when they get back from Aspen, Anna goes to work. And Layla, the crazy ex from the last book, shows up at her work and is like, hey, can I talk to you? Anna texts Christian and is like, Layla's here. I'm going to talk to her. Security will be with me. They searched her. I'm fine. But she puts her phone on silent like a girl boss. And she goes to meet with this girlie. And Layla's like, if it was all right with you, I wanted to talk to Christian. Anna's like, Christian's an adult. You can talk to him if he wants to talk to you. And she's like, well, I've tried, but he doesn't want to talk to me. And Anna's like, well, there's your answer. And then Christian shows up. Anna's like, was this your plan all along, Layla? And Layla's like, actually, yeah. Christian gets so livid at Layla. And he's like, if you ever come near my wife or me or my family again, I'm going to cut you off completely, because he's like still financially supporting her. So she flies back to New Haven, Connecticut, or wherever she's from. But Christian is really, really mad at Anna for talking to Layla. And he stays mad until Anna's dad gets into a massive car accident. And he's in a coma for like 4 days. Christian like forgives Anna because she's super sad. And her dad gets into a car accident like 3 days before her birthday. So he's in a coma for her birthday and she's really sad. But Christian tries to cheer her up and he brings all the rest of her loved ones together. And they have a nice little dinner, super happy and like sweet. Anna's like, you know, maybe he's not so mad. Maybe he's super sweet. Anna visits her dad in the hospital every day. Her dad gets transferred to the Seattle hospital because he was in Portland when the car accident happened. Anna is visiting him in the Seattle hospital. Her doctor runs into her and is like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. You need to have an update on your birth control shot. And Anna's like, can we do that now? And she's like, sure. How long have you been off of it? And she's like, well, I haven't seen you in a month. And the doctor's like, is there a possibility you could be pregnant? And Anna's like, well, I don't know. Is there? I don't know anything about this. And the doctor's like, well, let's check. So take a pregnancy test. Lo and behold, Anna's freaking pregnant. We all know how I feel about a pregnancy trope. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I knew it was coming. So Anna's pregnant. Ugh. And she's legitimately scared to tell Christian. The doctor's a little bit weird about it, actually. She tells Anna that she's pregnant. Anna is clearly in shock and unhappy. And the doctor's like, this is what happens when you don't take your birth control. Super unsympathetic. She doesn't even offer options. She's like, well, stuck with a baby now, I guess. Anna is terrified to tell Christian. She has no idea how he'll react. And he's outright said, I don't want to have kids now. So Anna tells him. He freaks out so hard. And he's mad at her. Takes two to tango. It's not like she did this on purpose. And he blames her. He's like, did you miss your birth control shot on purpose so that you would have a baby so that you could like ensnare me? I'm like, guys, you're already married. And she's like, no, obviously not. That's insane. And he leaves. And now she's mad at him because of this horrible reaction. He comes back way later and he's piss drunk. And then he passes out. And so Anna's like trying to get his clothes off so that he can go to bed. His phone buzzes and she checks it and it's a text from Elena Lincoln. It's like, I think you'll make a great father. Anna is understandably, once again, livid. He doesn't want to talk to me, and instead he runs to this horrible woman and spills his guts to her. Like, what? So she sleeps in a different room, and then the next morning she goes to work without talking to him. And then she gets a call from Jack Hyde, and she's at work. And he's like, I have Mia. I need $5 million or else I'm going to kill her. So she goes to the bank and she's like, I need $5 million right now. And the bank is like, we can't just do that. And she's like, please. And the bank is like, well, let me call your husband. She's like, no, but they do. And so she talks to Christian, and Christian's like, are you leaving me? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, was it all about the money? Were you just gold diggering me? And she's like, yes. So he liquidates all of his assets and freaks the fuck out. And so she gets her $5 million. She calls Jack and she's like, I have your $5 million, but people are following me. I'm not sure I'm going to get to you. And he's like, there's a car in the back. Meet me in the back, but you have to give me your phone. She asks the banker for his phone. She goes to the back. She puts her phone in the duffel bag of money. She gets to the car. Her assistant, Elizabeth, has been in cahoots with Jack for the entire time. So she hands Elizabeth the banker's phone. Elizabeth throws it in the garbage can and drives her to this abandoned alleyway where Jack is. Jack starts beating the shit out of Anna. Anna's like on the ground, pregnant and bruised and just in terrible condition. And then Christian shows up and is like, fuck you, and the police come and whatever. Anna is in a coma at the hospital. She wakes up. Seems as though Christian has come around to the idea of being a father. Anna's like, why was Elizabeth working with Jack? And Christian is like, well, he coerced them into having sex with him and he filmed it, and he said that if they don't do what he says, he'll release the sex tape. Anna's like, that's super fucked up. And Christian gets all sad because that's exactly what he did. He's like, I'm just like him. And Anna's like, no, you're not. I'm like, well, like, you kind of are. Like, you didn't beat the shit out of someone, but you said you wanted to. Like, neither of you are great people. We learn that Jack and Christian actually grew up in the same foster home. He got this idea in his head that, like, he could have had Christian's life. Anna and Christian make up and everyone's super happy that everyone's safe, blah, blah, blah. Happy ending. Epilogue time. I thought this epilogue would be all cutesy of them having a baby and being like a nice little family, super domestic. No. At first, we do get a nice... Anna is in the field in her new house with her family. She falls asleep, I guess, and she dreams of being super pregnant and doing like a BDSM scene with her husband. And I just about vomited. I will spare you the details because it got weird and it got gross. Ugh. Oh, my contact just fell out. Oh my God. My body literally rejected that. And then it's the end. I hated this, but I'm so glad that I don't have to think about it anymore. My favorite book series is in the mail right now, and I think I'm going to get it in a couple days, and so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you for watching me lose my mind for probably a long time. Bye.